The house felt off the moment I stepped inside, a heavy, clinging silence that sat on my skin like damp fog. I stood in the kitchen with my keys still swinging from one hand, the other hand pressed against the counter as if it might hold me in place. The clock on the wall seemed to shout with every tick, each second hammered against my skull. It read 2:17 p.m. and Sarah shouldn't have been home. Her car wasn't in the driveway, yet her shoes, those red heels she wore to work, lay scattered by the door. One rolled onto its side as if kicked off in a hurry. My stomach twisted into a cold knot when I heard voices drifting down from upstairs, a muffled hum that felt wrong in every way. I'd taken a rare break from the construction site where dust and sweat are constant companions, planning a surprise. Maybe the pasta she loved, the one with basil she'd once said reminded her of our first date. But the house didn't smell like basil or her perfume. Instead, there was a sharper scent, cedar and musk, alien and invasive. My boots felt leaden as I moved toward the stairs. Each step creaked under my weight and announced me to the empty hall. Voices blurred into a low murmur, broken by a laugh, her laugh, soft and unguarded, the laugh she used to save for me. I tried to tell myself it meant nothing. Maybe a friend dropped by. Maybe she'd taken the afternoon and they were catching up. But my pulse pounded in my ears and my hands trembled as I climbed, each step drawing me towards something I prayed I wouldn't find. The bedroom door was ajar, a thin slice of light spilling into the corridor. I froze, breath snagging when I heard it, a low, throaty moan that could only be hers. My heart lurched, an animal trapped in my chest, clawing to escape. I pushed the door open slow and deliberate because a part of me needed to be wrong. At first they didn't notice me. Sarah lay on the bed, hair fanned across the pillow we shared, her body tangled in the anniversary sheets I'd bought her. A man, broad-shouldered, dark-haired, shirt half unbuttoned, leaned over her, his lips grazing her neck. The image seared into my eyes, a snapshot I would never unsee. My throat closed. For a moment I couldn't breathe, couldn't move, couldn't think beyond the raw, jagged pain that sliced through me. "Sarah," I said, voice of strangers, low and cracked. They froze. Her eyes snapped to mine, wide with panic. The man scrambled back, face a mask of shock. But it was her expression that gutted me, guilty, yes, but threaded with something else, something like defiance, as if I'd interrupted something she believed she was owed. "Matt," she gasped, clutching the sheet to her chest. "You're home early?" The man messed with his shoes, muttering nonsense, but I didn't care about him. My gaze burned on her, the woman I'd loved for 8 years, the woman I'd built a life with. The one who'd promised me forever in a church full of roses and tears. Why? The question tore out of me raw, carrying every ounce of my heartbreak. She opened her mouth and closed it again, lips trembling. "I didn't mean for you to see this," she said finally, voice small as if smallness could soften betrayal. The man edged toward the door to slip past me. I grabbed his arm hard enough to bruise. "Who are you?" I demanded, my voice shaking with barely contained rage. "Matt, don't," Sarah pleaded, scrambling from the bed, the sheet trailing behind like a ghost. "This is Ryan. He's just a friend." "A friend?" I laughed, a bitter, hollow sound that echoed in the room. "You don't your friends, Sarah." Ryan jerked his arm free, his face flushed with either embarrassment or fear, I couldn't tell which. "Look, man, I didn't know she was married," he blurted, hands up like a shield. But his eyes flicked to her and I saw it, the tiny, telling lie, the secret they thought I was too blind to see. "Get out," I said, voice low and dangerous. He didn't argue, he grabbed his jacket and bolted down the stairs. The front door slammed and left me alone with her, the silence now heavier than before. Sarah's tears streaked down her face, but they moved me no more. "Matt, I'm so sorry," she sobbed, reaching for me. I stepped back, her touch seared like a brand I couldn't bear. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. It was a mistake. A mistake? I echoed, voice unintentionally rising. "How long, Sarah? How long have you been lying to me?" Her hesitation answered before she did. "A few months," she admitted in a whisper, then tried to cushion it, but it didn't mean anything. "I swear, Matt, I love you." The words hit like a slap, not because of their truth, but because they were hollow. I thought of the late nights she blamed on the office, the ignored texts, the laughter that had begun to sound rehearsed. The signs had been there, small and insidious, but I'd explained them away as stress, life, anything but this. I trusted her and loved her so fiercely that I blinded myself. Anger built in me, my hands clenched into fists, and the urge to smash something nearly overwhelmed me. The room closed in, thick with her perfume and his cologne. I stumbled to the dresser and my fingers brushed the framed photo of us at the lake last summer, her smile wide and open, full of hope. I wanted to throw it and watch it shatter like my trust, but I couldn't make myself. "Matt, please," she begged, voice breaking. "Talk to me. We can fix this." The words echoed like a plea from someone who still believed in repair. I spun to face her, anger boiling over. "You broke us, Sarah. You broke me." My voice cracked, and I hated how vulnerable it made me sound. Part of me still wanted her to explain it away, to turn it into a nightmare I could wake from. But she sank onto the bed and shook with sobs. I could not comfort her. Every fiber of me screamed betrayal. I thought of the future we'd planned, kids, a house on the coast, growing old together. All of it felt like ash now, scattered by choices she'd made. Then I saw it, her phone half buried in the sheets, screen still lit. I grabbed it before she could stop me, fingers trembling as I swiped it open. She hadn't changed the password, the messages were there, a thread with Ryan stretching back months. I scrolled and each line was a fresh wound, flirtations, plans, promises. "I can't stop thinking about you," she'd written just yesterday. "Matt's working late again. Come over." My vision blurred, not from tears but from a cold, hot fury. She shrank under my stare, face paling. "You planned this," I said, voice dangerously calm. "You invited him into our home, into our bed." She started to speak, but I cut her off, holding up the phone so the glowing screen was between us. "You don't get to talk your way out of this." I wanted to make her feel the same tearing agony. Then I found a cruel, precise twist. I opened her messages, pulled Ryan's contact, and typed, "Matt knows. It's over. Don't come back." I hit send and forwarded the entire thread to my own phone. Evidence, leverage, proof, chains she could never slip from. "Matt, what are you doing?" she cried, lunging for the phone. I held it just out of reach, eyes locked on hers. "You wanted him," I said, each word deliberate and cutting. "Now live with the consequences." I walked out while her sobs followed me. I didn't look back. Downstairs I grabbed my keys, jacket, and the bottle of whiskey we'd been saving for a special night, the bitter irony not lost on me. Outside, cold air struck my face sharp and grounding. I didn't know where I'd go, only that I couldn't stay, not in that house, not with her. I sat in my truck with the engine ticking over and the whiskey burning my throat. My phone buzzed, her name flashed on the screen. I didn't answer. Let her stew. Let her drown in the guilt she'd been building. I'd loved her with everything I had and she'd thrown it away. But I wasn't finished. Not broken yet. I'd rebuild, piece by jagged piece, and when I did she would know what she'd lost. The messages on my phone were my weapon now, my proof, my leverage, the quiet machinery of revenge. She'd never outrun the truth, and neither would I. If you felt this with me, if this lights a fire inside you or a ache you recognize, join a community that knows how to stand up after being knocked down. Subscribe and be part of people rebuilding stronger, because nobody should have to face betrayal alone.